Hey there friends, how's it going? So a quick update I want to share with you all, one that a lot of you have asked about, which is asking for a list of all my beginner-friendly song lessons, right? And I finally have put that together. It's on my website. It's also in this Patreon post, in the post itself. And there's also a PDF attached to the post that has clickable links if you just want to download it, keep it in your computer, and not have to worry about going online to find it. So let me explain the big picture here. Straight away, the summary is if you go to my website, playsongnotes.com, and you click on Tools and then Beginner Song List. There's a few other ways to get here as well. Of the 243 songs that I have created, what I did is I went through each of them and I looked at the number of chords they used. It's only, I looked for songs that use 3 or 4 chords max, that don't use any crazy complicated chords, that are relatively simple as far as the structure. I don't want a song with lots of different parts and everything. And if the answer was yes to all those things, I basically put them in this list. So this is a bit of a hand-picked list, right? This is maybe, 50 or 60 songs out of the 243. So I've grouped them by key. And the reason why is usually when you're playing, especially more beginner-friendly songs, they're using 3 or 4 chords. And those chords are typically the 1, the 4, the 5, and then the minor 6 usually. I mean, there's some exceptions to that. But for example, in the key of G, that would be a G, a C, a D, and an E minor. And my thinking is you sort of getting good with these shapes, you're comfortable with these shapes, you want to try it out with some beginner-friendly songs. All these songs are typically going to pull from those chords, right? And then I've also linked to some of the handy instructional PDFs and videos I've made. So for example, if you're playing in the key of G, I made this previous lesson on the G major chord, right? And finger position. Should you use your middle finger down here and your ring finger up here on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string? Or should you play it like this, with your ring finger on the thickest string? And what I cover in that video is how it all depends on context, about what the other chords you're playing are. Because based on that, it might determine, what's the easiest finger position for the G. Like going between this G and this C, there's an argument for using your ring finger down here. Anyway, that's the key of G. Key of C, same deal, a little bit less songs, but I linked to my F chord cheat sheet. Some of these songs do use the chord of F, but do not be scared away, even if you're a beginner, please. Because the F chord, you can play a 3-string version that effectively is just like the C major chord. You're just moving these 2 fingers 1 string thinner, and you're only playing strings 2, 3, and 4. And if that's what it takes for you to play one of these songs that you really want to play, go for it, right? So that's there. I also linked to a key of C cheat sheet I made. And the same thing for the key of D, which is going to use, D, G, and A typically. There's one with B minor, but as I say, you can just use sort of the A minor shape, slid up 2 frets, right? That's Pancho and Lefty, I believe, has that. Anyway, key of E, key of A. So check out this list. Now, let me note this. This is kind of an important thing. These are not lessons created just for beginners. I don't think I've made any lessons that are like just for beginners. But typically what I do is when I'm teaching any song, I'll explain it starting off like, hey, here's the simplest way to play this. And I'll sort of show you, just doing, for example, a down strum on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. This is a great beginner exercise, right? And it's sort of the minimum viable, in many cases, the minimum viable version of playing those songs. But my point is, some of these lessons have complicated stuff in them, but I always start with the basics and I move toward the complicated stuff. So if you're a beginner and you're looking at my lesson for any of these songs and you see a chord or two you don't know how to play, or the intro is complicated, skip it. Skip the intro. You can get to that later. Or you see that complicated chord, there shouldn't be any complicated chords here. If you see like a C7, you don't know what that is, you can just play a C, right? You see a G7, you don't know what that is, just play a G, right? So always look for the simpler version. Now, I would like to in the future make some beginner lessons that are focused on just being beginner lessons, right? I think there's a total use case for that. But so far, I want to work with what I got. I got, over 243 song lessons. I wanted to go through those, pull out the beginner-friendly ones, or the ones that I think could be played by a beginner, and pop them on here. One request I have for you, if there's any beginner-friendly topics or beginner-friendly songs, or any of these songs that you want to see a simplified lesson for, let me know, because I absolutely would love to go back and sort of update some of these. One thing I'll show you guys, I think he does a really good job. Andy Guitar, he does a really good job. I looked at a lot of different teachers and how they organize their beginner-friendly songs. One thing that I like that he does is he has things grouped by a level. And I think that initially was tripping me up because I was like, well, how do you determine how many levels are there and what goes in what level? But if you look at how he does it, you click on level 1, I like how in his thumbnail you can see basically what chords each of these songs uses. So these are a lot of 2-chord songs, right? Super beginner friendly, I'm sure. Now if I went back and then I went to like level 3, some of these are 3-chord songs. But I like how he shows the chord, next to each of the, in the thumbnail basically. Let's go to level 6 and see what he got. So I will say that I am a bit more bold with taking some of my songs. Like Stand By Me is a song I have on my list. I have that as one of my beginner-friendly songs. It uses 4 chords, but I think those are manageable chords. And I think that, if you're driven to play this song and you learn those 4 chords, the great thing is those 4 chords are going to work for most of these other songs in the key of G, which is a really cool benefit. So in the long run, I would like to sort of, get my experience as good as Andy's in this regard. But I just wanted to share that. I really enjoy his lessons, and we're lucky to have Andy. But anyway, this exists for you. PlaySongNotes.com. Just click under Tools, look under Beginner Song List, and again, in the Patreon post that you're reading now, you should find my PDF attached in this list. So thank you all. More updates here coming. I am really excited about the sort of stuff I'm working on to improve just the experience about folks getting back into guitar, getting into it for the first time, sort of stuck at that, in between beginner and intermediate, and they can't move on. Lots of grouping of topics, and I don't know if the word courses is one I want to use, but thinking about courses and topics and roadmaps and series and topical bundles of videos that all work towards a goal, right? I enjoy making my sort of spontaneous videos, 1 or 2 every week, but I agree that library just becomes a sort of cluttered, unorganized mess unless I'm tending to that garden. So this is me tending to it. Added this page. More to come, but in the meantime, check this out and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot, y'all, and I'll see you in my next lesson. Got a new one coming in a few days. Bye-bye.